Right, and straight into the headlines on what's making the headlines in our local newspapers here. And with me, I have the Standard. On the front page of the Standard newspaper, Raila backs down as Kalonzo quits NASA. Raila backs down as Kalonzo quits NASA. ODM leader cedes ground on contested political parties funding in a last-minute effort to woo his estranged partners. But this did not stop Wiper Party from joining ANC in voting to quit the alliance formed prior to the 2017 polls. That is what's making in the headlines of the Standard newspaper. And according to Raila Odinga, I quote what he said: "Our party has resolved that we share with our coalition partners ODM's share of the political parties funding fund attributed to the parliamentary votes for the financial year 2018, 2019 and 2020. That is what's making the headlines of the Standard newspaper. And again, still on the front page, fees warning as teachers' fears revealed. Now, TSC already investigating and will punish school heads identified by the Ministry of Education for levying fees against the government's directive, even as a survey by the employer reveals 10 fears of teachers. You have to take a look on that. That's coming at the backdrop of reopening of schools, and almost 15 million students now are in class right now. Now, passionate teacher creates museum. It's a full-page story there on the on inside the Standard, and you can take a look at that story. It's an interesting article there that you can read. Now, on the story of the coalition partners, a formal exit from NASA by Wiper may lead to removal of its MPs from key parliamentary positions. But yesterday, Suna East Junet Mohammed said that even after the divorce, all the Wiper party leaders serving in different departmental committees in Parliament, or even Ford Kenya as well as ANC, will continue serving in such capacities. And ODM leader Raila Odinga has ceded ground over the contested political parties funding in a last-minute effort to woo back his estranged partners in the opposition coalition. Raila yesterday wrote to the four partners, parties in NASA, agreeing to share funds attributed to members of Parliament. Now, Raila wrote to Wiper's Kalonzo Musyoka, Musalia Mudavadi of Amani National Congress, ANC, Ford Kenya's Moses Wetangula, and Chama cha Mashinani's Isaac Ruto. Now, that is there. It's been long coming, but according to Kalonzo Musyoka, he's still open to talks. That was according to the press statement yesterday after a 5-hour meeting with the Wiper leaders. And he said that he's still open to talks on what is happening. Now, before I go to Jain, I will give you 4 options for Kalonzo in 2022 political succession. Now, with time running out for Wiper leader, he must not miss being in the next government, or else he will have to wait until 2032 when he will be 78 years old. I will give you the 4 options now Kalonzo has with him. But before that, Jen.
A quick look at what the People Daily have for us this morning. I have a copy of the Daily Nation as well. But before we get to that, let me just run you through the front page of the People Daily. Not too busy today, starting with that particular story, or rather a story that is related to that particular one, as Raila leads a strong team to Central, and the visit to Murang'a, where he will be hosted by business mogul SK Macharia, is largely seen as part of his spirited efforts to court Mount Kenya ahead of the 2022 polls. A lot is going to be happening today. We have seen Gladys Wanga has been quoted here saying that she was invited to attend the meeting and she's expected to be there by 9 a.m. today in attendance. Coming to the main story here on the front page is in regards to our teachers, as alarm has been sounded given 45% of teachers are yet to be vaccinated. Now, this is a huge shortfall from the target that was put ahead of time, where they were hoping to vaccinate at least 330,000 teachers between the months of March and June. And so far, I think 158,000 have been vaccinated, and we'll be getting to that story in a bit. And finally, the other story here on the front page of the Daily Nation is in regards to a report that was put out by DCI, and they have sounded the alarm on the rising number of suicide cases that have been reported. But first, looking at this particular story concerning our teachers, it has been captured here on page 4 of the People Daily, where nearly half of the country's teachers have not been vaccinated against the virus, and this is meaning not vaccinated. They haven't even gotten the first jab of the COVID-19 vaccination, and this is despite them being considered frontline workers for that matter. So 44.4% of teachers have not received the jab. Only 27.1% are fully vaccinated, and this is data that is as recent as yesterday. And the ministry say that this is a huge gap because teachers ought to have been fully vaccinated given the nature of their work. And according to the COVID-19 task force chairman, Dr. Willis, he called upon all teachers to get vaccinated as soon as possible, given the children are expected in school by the end of this week. And between the months of March and June, the target was 330,000 teachers, but only 158,720 were vaccinated, and out of this 158,720, only 89,611 were fully vaccinated. That is about half of the entire batch that was vaccinated. We also saw the TSC Secretary Nancy Macharia pleading with teachers to get vaccinated, given since the pandemic struck in our country, they have lost 73 teachers. Another 454 teachers have fully recovered from the virus. And this is a huge call to action message to our teachers as they get back to school with our children. Get vaccinated. It is a safety mechanism for you, a defense mechanism for you, as well as the children that you will be interacting with. Vic.
Now, so what is the way forward still on that story? Increase psychological support. 1. 2. Increase access to water and soap. Minimize use of sanitizers. 3. Sustain positive messages to teachers. 4. Train teachers on the management of COVID-19. And 5. Enhance contacts with health institutions and personnel for regular checkups. And lastly, blended learning. Incorporate remote learning as alternative modes of curriculum delivery. No more stopping learning in case of another surge. That is as far as that is concerned. 15 million students are in school right now. So let me give you the 4 options that Kalonzo Musyoka will now have to tackle ahead of 2022 polls. Now, option 1, it would be for him to consider being a running mate of Raila Odinga for the 3rd time and hope to win the elusive presidency. Now, this option is being fought by his party, which made him rule it out last month. Option 2, the second option for Kalonzo is to ditch Raila and be either a presidential candidate or running mate in Oka, that is One Kenya Alliance, which brings together ANC's Musalia Mudavadi, KANU chairman and Baringo Senator Gideon Moi, and his Bungoma counterpart Moses Wetangula. The third option will be to team up with William Ruto, that is deputy president, which was being pushed by former Machako Senator Johnston Muthama, Kalonzo's former long-time ally. In such a scenario, he would be compelled to play second fiddle to Ruto, given that the deputy president will not want to serve in the same position after serving for 2 terms. And the fourth option, just like in 2007 when Kalonzo ran for State House and garnered about 800,000 votes, he could decide to go it alone and consolidate his Ukambani power base and lock 1.5 million votes, and which he hoped of forcing a rerun in the presidential election and make a deal with the leading contender and form government. So out of all the 4 options, probably there is one that is missing, or 2 or even 3. With politicians, they will never run out of options. So you have it. Okay. As far as that is concerned, now Gachagua charged with 7.5 billion shillings fraud released on 25 million shillings bond. And judge says that the hefty bail terms were a reflection of the severity of the corruption allegations against the MP. Now, Badira MP Rigathi Gachagua appeared before a Nairobi court to face corruption charges yesterday. What started as a dawn raid at his Nyeri home on Friday and a weekend in police custody culminated in court with the MP pleading not guilty to 6 counts of economic crimes. Anti-Corruption Court Chief Magistrate Lawrence Mugambi ordered Gachagua to deposit a cash bail of 12 million shillings or a 25 million shillings bond with surety of a similar amount to secure his release. And yesterday, after his release, the MPs and the legislators allied to him or allied to Deputy President William Ruto and his friends as well said that the bail terms and the bond terms were, unreasonably high. And they are asking how they are going to raise that 12 million shillings, even as that was his only way out of court. All right.
Do they want us to start talking about the 7 billion fraud case?
All right, that according to them, they say that that money was too high. They're going to look for that money and raise the 12 million shillings cash bail of 25 million shillings bond and surety of the similar amount. Okay? And on the front page of the Star. Now, let's flip pages. Political bigwigs headache over 50+1 vote. Raila is eyeing Kalonzo Musyoka, while Deputy President Ruto is banking on Mount Kenya to seal round 1 victory. Now, front runners quoting regional kingpins, and that is there. And still on the front page of the Star, we have got the Shujaa there. Well, they are doing their best in Tokyo, Japan. Not so as per their expectation either way, but they're doing well. They were beaten by South Africa after a narrow loss to USA yesterday in the Olympics. And we still hope for the best for the boys, as they're being called. They're men, but they're always being called boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, still on the Star newspaper here, ODM to share cash with Wiper, but is deal possible? Now, opposition chief informs Kalonzo outfit of the decision. That is what's making again on the Star newspaper here. You can take a look at that. Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has climbed down and eventually agreed to share political parties' funds after 4 years of a standoff. And this is also seen as a way to them back and his allies back to the fold. Now, still on that story, Gachagua released on 12 million shillings bail in 7.4 billion shillings graft case. Now, there is that story of Mbijiwe, the political analyst and strategist. And now the mother says that God and sources say he's safe. Wow. Now this is the faith and hope of a mother. While the whole country is now saying that probably Mbijiwe cannot be found, the mother is saying, Jain, that the son is safe. God and sources say that he's safe. Now, security expert Mwenda Mbijiwe has been missing for almost 2 months now. But his mother says that her sources and my God, quote unquote, tell her he's alive and safe. This reminds me of one particular line in the good book that says that with faith even the mountains can move.
Absolutely. A mother's love will hold on up until the very last minute.
And you never know. Maybe that's the only hope that is remaining for the son to come back home.
You can imagine.
That we hope that, he's a good guy. He's a good guy, and we hope that the government will make sure that he's back home safe and sound. All right. What do you have, Jain?
Now, let me tie that particular story to this piece that has been featured here on the People Daily. It's in regards to a report that was done by the Department of Operations at DCI. And it compiled data between the months of April through to June 2021. And as a result of this particular report, they have come to the realization that 483 people have committed suicide in the past 3 months alone. Now, the county that tops this is Kiambu County, which recorded 108 suicide cases in general terms, but the central region actually tops when it comes to suicide cases. A total of 181 suicide cases were reported from central. Rift Valley region came second with 68 suicide cases. Nyanza came in third with 67 cases. Nairobi fourth with 63 cases, while Eastern region came in at fifth position with 57 cases. Western region, 29 cases were reported. Coast 14, while Northeastern had the least number of cases with only 3 cases of suicide being reported. Getting further into the details of this report, the youngest person, as per this report, to have committed suicide was a 9-year-old child, and the oldest was a 76-year-old person, gender withheld. Some of the reasons that they suspect to have pushed these people to commit suicide include financial constraints, and in the particular case of this 9-year-old who did not leave a suicide note, they suspect that it could have been a case of scolding by the parents due to poor performance in school. And according to also the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, there has been a sharp increase in the number of suicide cases, given in the whole of 2019 there were only 196 cases of suicide that were reported. And looking at the past 3 months alone, it has almost tripled that figure, with 483 cases of suicide being reported. And also just looking at Kenya as a country, we are also topping when it comes to the countries that have high suicide rates. I had seen that figure somewhere here. I've just lost it, but it has been noted that Kenya is among the countries that have high suicide rates, and especially in the African space. And the DCI has called on the government to look into this matter, with DCI boss George Kinoti saying, "We have never recorded such a high number of suicide before, and this is not only alarming but calls for urgent remedial measures in order to bring these numbers down." Such a sad situation. This is the second time we are hearing of, or rather personally hearing of, such a young person having committed suicide. The other one that I heard of was back in 2019, where an 8-year-old boy committed suicide in their home due to scolding, again, from the parents. Took a rope, went to the pit latrine and hanged themselves. So this is a cause for concern. Vic.
All right. Okay. All right, so that story there about teachers and their fear as coronavirus say that could overrun congested institutions. But now there are possible challenges in term 1 of 2021. COVID-19 management. What are some of the possible challenges? That is one, syllabus coverage and overstretched infrastructure, increased workload, implementation of CBC and CBA, low payment of fees, and lastly, early pregnancies. Those are some of the possible challenges in term 1 of 2021. Remember, 50 million students are currently in school for the first time of this year's calendar. Now, political bigwigs battle for 50+1 vote as race to State House takes shape. Now, frontrunners Raila Odinga and William Ruto are courting regional kingpins to enhance their victory chances. We have got Gideon Moi, we have got Kalonzo Musyoka, Musalia Mudavadi, Raila Odinga, as well as William Ruto. So that is that. Now, President's men plan central meetings to activate Jubilee. They are part of an elaborate scheme to reinvigorate the wobbling outfit. The Jubilee Party is planning a series of meetings in President Uhuru Kenyatta's central backyard as it moves to redeem itself after months of internal implosion. Now, the party secretariat has scheduled grassroots meetings in Kiambu, Murang'a County, that is Kiambu, Murang'a, Nyeri and Kirinyaga, in the next weeks to revamp Jubilee. And the meetings are a part of a scheme by the President's men to reinvigorate the wobbling outfit that has been rocked by vicious infighting and blame game over its performance. Right, there you have it, and that comes just after two meetings. One of them was at the Jubilee headquarters, where they had a stormy meeting, and the last one was a couple of days ago at a Nairobi hotel, where they also said that they are ready to work and reinvigorate the Jubilee Party. At this particular point, I think this is the right time that we need to take a break so that we can also take that sip. What about you? Yeah, go and take yours as well. If you have yours with you, sip it as I do that. Jen, let's take a break.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back.